Do the Dodgers need a tough guy? And we've got big injury updates. Walker Buehler has his best rehab start. What will the Dodgers postseason outfield mix look like? And the top 5 center fielders in Dodgers history. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam!
It's a double for Freddie. They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor and subscribe to the #1 Dodgers show, the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel, the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and the most important thing, comment Go Tawny down below. If you comment Go Tawny and you're subscribed to the channel, you'll be eligible for our next big giveaway, and we're getting very, very close. It could happen next week, and once you comment down below and you're subscribed, you're eligible to win an authentic Road Gray number 17 Shohei Ohtani Dodgers jersey. We're doing tons of giveaways. We just gave away a jersey for the newest trade edition, so make sure you're subscribed and you have those notifications on so you're eligible for all of our giveaways. Also, a reminder that today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs this season, from baseball to golf to soccer, right to all the top fights in the UFC and MMA and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to their online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, for your 50% off free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. BetOnline, the game starts here. In every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the poll question of the show, and I will ask you that same question. Will Walker Buehler be part of the Dodgers postseason rotation? I asked you guys this over on X, and right now 34% of you say yes, while 66% of you say no. Walker Buehler, who had established himself as one of the best postseason pitchers in baseball back in 2018, 2019. Most Dodgers fans don't think he's going to factor in to that postseason rotation. But we want all your takes. This is a live show, so definitely drop those takes down below. I got super producer Tony Taters rocking with us as always. He's looking for your fire takes. When he sees your takes, he's going to feature them on the screen as well as your super chats. You'll see him up there as well. I also got Young Lotto, Noel Sanchez, always repping the boys in blue. He's looking for your takes as well. He's our social media superstar, so they're rocking with us as well. But let's see some takes real quick, then we're going to get right into it. We got Jose Aguirre, only if Walker Buehler has the extra tight skinny pants. I'll give you a bruh. Give you a bro right off the bat. By the way, let me know where you're representing Dodgers Nation. It's a fun quarter zip Friday. Didn't have the fun shirt today, but still, it is Friday. It's Dodger baseball. So let me know where you're representing. Where are you working? Where you're at? We're listening to Dodgers Dugout Live. We got Jose Aguirre. Brewstar will be back this season. Maybe we're not cooked and cursed. It's a fire take. And we'll talk some Brewstar. It's a grade 1 hammy after all, so definitely a real nice taste of some good news for the Dodgers. Dorlando Davis's hot take: Dodgers will not lose sole possession on first place in the National League West. So hopefully that's the case. The Dodgers do find themselves in a division race all of a sudden. It looked like the Dodgers were going to run away with the division. The Padres, they win yesterday, and the Padres is 2.5 games back of the Dodgers in the NOS. LA sitting at 66-49. They're up 2.5 on the Pods and 3.5 on the D-bag. So got to play some good ball down the stretch to win this division. But of course, we got to start every show with the leadoff, the hottest story in Dodger baseball. So Walker Buehler had his best rehab start to date down in AAA. Buehler gave up just one run on a one hit, a solo home run there in the 5th inning, and he ends up going 5 1/3 innings. He struck out 5 against Round Rock, the Rangers AAA affiliate. In the 1st inning, it looked like it was going to be another rough rehab start for Buehler. He ended up walking the first batter he faced on 4 pitches. He threw more balls than strikes, 11 balls, 7 strikes in that first frame, but was able to get out of it, and then he would retire the next 13 batters he faced. So he was looking crisp out there, wasn't overpowering, wasn't dominant, but the fact that he really locked in, retired 13 straight batters, and he was sharp, and he only gave up 1 hit, and that was a solo home run to Blaine Crim there in the 5th inning. So Buehler walked the first 2 batters of the 6th before he got a pop out to end the night on 85 pitches. So started a little rocky with the command. Then the middle part of the start, he was outstanding. 13 straight batters retired, gave up the solo home run. That has been an issue for Buehler this season, but a strong showing for Buehler, who had looked really bad, just to be frank, in the start prior, in his rehab starts this season, in his time with the Dodgers this year in the show, an ERA close to 6, but this is definitely something encouraging, something to build on. You look at that fastball velocity, he averaged 94.1 miles per hour on that 4-seam fastball. That was consistent with his last 2 AAA rehab starts. He topped out at 96.2 miles per hour, and he also threw the 3 hardest fastballs of his entire rehab stint yesterday. So he's throwing harder than ever. The command is better than it's been. And this is against the PCL, right? This isn't an offensive heavy league. So look, we always hear that, okay, we don't want to look too deep into it when offensive players have success in the PCL. Well, hey, you got to be consistent and keep that same energy for Walker Buehler, who was able to have success against these lineups, and it puts him in a good position to come back and help this team. He also was able to generate 10 swingings and misses. So you saw some strikeouts, you saw some swing and miss, you saw him stay locked in and not get to the point where he's getting chased in an inning. Anytime you see 13 retired batters in a row, that tells you the focus is elevated. That tells you the consistency with his command is improved. And it was just the 3rd time in 17 starts of the season between the majors and the minors that he's pitched into the 6th inning. So that's another positive. And if you look at the production before this and his numbers, it was trending in the wrong direction to the point where we were saying, okay, how do you find a way on the postseason roster? What will they do with Walker Buehler? Because before yesterday, he had given up 8 runs on 15 hits in 7 1/3 innings of work with 5 walks and 9 punch-outs. So those aren't the numbers that you want to see from him. But yesterday he did change the narrative a little bit, and I think he put himself in a good position to get that opportunity once again. And the plan now, Dave Roberts said, is that he's a big league pitcher. He's an all-star pitcher. He's going to get another opportunity. Dave told us a couple days ago, honestly, I don't think it matters as far as the results and the stats for his rehab starts. He would go on to say, he said he felt better about this one than the last one. The results certainly weren't there. He's an all-star major league pitcher. So at some point in time, you do the buildup. He's got one more, then he's going to help us at the major league level. It comes down to Walker competing, making pitches, and us running him out there. That's where I'm at. So look, he's basically putting the trust in Walker Buehler, saying that Buehler has told Roberts that he's felt better, and they're going to trust him in his assessment of his start. And if you look at his numbers at the big league level, a 5.84 ERA, a 4.90 expected ERA in 8 starts. If he puts up those same numbers, he will not be pitching key postseason games for the Dodgers. In fact, if he puts up those numbers, there's a good chance that he won't be on the postseason roster at all. But I do think that if there's one guy that you really should bet on, it has to be Buehler. This is the ultimate competitor. This is one of the most intelligent pitchers as far as baseball IQ, as far as knowing how to pitch in the sport. And this is also a guy that's heading towards free agency. This is also someone that's looking to get some type of bag this offseason. And if you're the Dodgers, what do you do with Walker Buehler? If he comes back and has success, do you offer him the qualifying offer? Do you extend him that, which is going to be a 1-year deal over $20 million? Does he look to sign a bet on yourself type of deal with another team where he can be featured a little more prominently? If he struggles, do you find another reason to place him on the IL and have his season be over? Do you release him at some point? I can't imagine they would absolutely release him if he's really bad. I think hopefully the worst case scenario is he goes on the IL for the remainder of the season. I can't imagine the Dodgers outright releasing him unless he wanted to get released to go on another team to try to see if he can pitch somewhere else to put himself in a position to get yourself that bet on yourself type of contract. So they're definitely going to have some decisions to make, but it's a very intriguing storyline. One of the biggest storylines to follow for the remainder of the season is how effective will Walker Buehler be back? Will we see Walker bleeping Buehler? Will we see butane? Is it going to be low octane butane? Are we going to see the flamethrower back? I don't think so. We're not going to see the fireballer throwing 98, 99, 100, but if you can see 96 and 97 with command and his ability to utilize his pitch mix and go with that knuckle curve and the slider and just be able to go and get outs, he can certainly help this team. Now, when will you see Walker Buehler back on the mound? Well, if Buehler stays on this schedule, he is going to be back for the Dodgers pitching during their road trip against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Dodgers, they begin a stretch where they play 13 consecutive games in a row. That starts today. So right now, it looks like you're going to see him back out there on the bump. We're going to have Buehler bump day on Wednesday against the Brew Crew in Milwaukee. And if they continue with this, the benefits of that is you'll get rest for the other starters. By plugging him in, the other Dodgers starters will be able to go on regular rest. So you won't have to see guys go on 4 days rest for this 13-game stretch that they're going to be on. So me personally, I'm not ready to say Buehler's going to be that guy. Tight pants, Buehler's back, and we're going to see him go out there and pitch a complete game shutout. No, but when you look at the questions of this starting rotation now, Gavin Stone hasn't pitched like the same guy as an ERA close to 7 since his 9-inning shutout against the White Sox. Clayton Kershaw had a nice start back. Then he had a bad start against the Padres and a more encouraging start a couple nights ago. So he's trending in the right direction. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is saying all the right things. He's saying he's not worried about the injury at this point. He has the confidence he's going to come back and pitch like he did after his start against the Padres to start the season, where he was one of the best 20 pitchers in baseball, at the worst, at the best, one of the top 10 to 15. So there's still a lot of questions. And there is an opportunity for Walker Buehler to find himself back into this rotation, to find himself back into this postseason mix, because let's be honest with you, outside of Tyler Glasnow and Jack Flaherty, every single spot in the rotation is up for grabs. That's just the reality. Glasnow's your number one. Jack Flaherty is the guy they traded for to be a frontline starter. So barring any injury, he's going to be one of those guys. And then Yamamoto has to prove that he's healthy and that he can still be effective after the strained rotator cuff. So look, at the very least, we have something to feel good about. I mean, it would have been awful if he was rocked yesterday and then you're going to throw him in Milwaukee. He gets rocked again, and it could be the end of Walker Buehler as a Dodger. We have something to build on. But let's go to the super chats here. We got Win Lazar. Maybe a Let's Go Dodgers, my man. $10 super chat. That's going to the Teoscar Hernandez fund. I'm just joining. I'm not sure it's covered. But if the Dodgers traded for Randy Robert Pham or Rooker, they would have had a tough guy, better options, but they're compared to what they have in the outfield. Yeah, look, I mean, we'll talk about the tough guy narrative in a second. I mean, Luis Robert Jr. is really not as a tough guy. Randy Arozarena plays with a lot of electricity. Pham, I think, is definitely a tough guy. I mean, he's one of those guys who's not even a fake tough guy. A lot of these guys are, hey, please hold me back, and they start rushing guys, and they actually don't want to throw a punch. Pham is the kind of guy who's literally said, I train the off season so I can F guys up. Okay. And Tommy Pham definitely certainly is a guy that you wouldn't want to see in a dark alley. Rooker, I don't get that vibe from him, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, look, the truth of the matter is they didn't get any of those guys. The guy they did get was Tommy Edman. And that's what we're going to switch gears to is yesterday at Dodger Stadium, there was a simulated game that took place. And it was really cool to see Max Muncy and Mookie Betts and Tommy Edman. And the big takeaways you had, like we saw here, they got the high-tech little, people call it a sports bra. No, it's not a sports bra. Okay. That's something that allows them to track data and it's advanced. So definitely it's good. But look, I've been watching a lot of Mookie Betts taking ground balls at shortstops, and you've seen the throw get better. The throw is so much better now at shortstop as far as the angles, as far as how comfortable he is with it, as far as his ability to get set with his lower body and produce a firm throw to first base. It's so much better now than it looked like at the beginning of the season that it's clear that that's something that he worked on while he was out, as far as putting himself in a better position with the angles and the instincts and really just, quite frankly, the experience and the repetitions, because that's what it comes down to when you're learning the shortstop position. So I told you a couple months ago, told you a month ago, told you a couple weeks ago, everyone was saying Mookie Betts is going to go to center field. Mookie Betts is going to right field. I told you he was going to be back in the outfield. I mean, back at shortstop, and was going to go back in the outfield. And could that change? It's possible, but they're going to begin with him at shortstop. Max Muncy, he looked really good at third base. I saw people concerned about how his body would look with a lot of time off. Would he lose some of the lateral ability? No, he looks really good at third base. He was already having one of the best years of his career as far as offense and defense. He was putting together the best complete season of his career. Best defensively, on pace for 36 home runs, over 100 RBIs. And Max Muncy, I really, really feel bullish about that. There were some people that were doubting him, saying, oh, go get Nolan Arenado, go get Ryan McMahon, go get Isaac Paredes, go get all these guys. Max Muncy has the potential to out-hit all of those guys in the postseason. And defensively, he's performed a lot better. I'm telling you right now, Max Muncy is going to come back. That chiropractor is going to get a World Series ring if the Dodgers win one, because he looks healthy. He looks ready. And I have a lot of confidence that we are going to get the all-star version of Max Muncy when he comes back. And that's going to go a long way to providing stability for this team in the infield, because you look at the left side of that infield, you have an inexperienced Mookie Betts and a Max Muncy that we saw a couple years ago in the NLDS. Hassan Kim double down the line. Look, there's some plays that certainly can cause fits, but let's not forget the net benefits of what they can do offensively outweigh having a defense first third baseman or a defense first shortstop that can't hit. So the net benefits of Mookie Betts at short and Max Muncy at third base, because they're well above average, they're top hitters at their positions, that certainly should be the focus. I know defense wins championships. Defense is extremely important, but that's why you have Miguel Rojas, and it's why you have Tommy Edman. That's why you have these options for late game substitutions if you want to go that route. If you do have a lead, if you need to make a substitution, they do have some viable options. So let's not forget that. And it was also interesting what Mookie Betts said yesterday. Bill Plunkett of the OC Register, he put out a piece, and Mookie said about his spot in the lineup, he said about him moving down in the 2-hole and moving off the leadoff spot. Mookie said, I mean, I can't say I'm better than Shohei. There's nothing really you can say. Whatever Shohei says goes, and after that, we kind of fall in line. I mean, I can't say I'm better than Shohei, but it doesn't matter. When the lights turn on, it doesn't matter. You got to be ready to go, and I'll be ready to go. And a couple months ago, I talked to Mookie Betts, and I asked him that same question that he asked him, and Mookie told me, I don't care. Shohei belongs wherever the hell he wants to go. Wherever he wants to go, he can be there. Once he decides what he wants to do, I'll get in where I fit in. So I've seen this morning, this is a topic of conversation, kind of a little bit of a negative thing, because I see Dodgers fans freaking out saying, oh, what is Mookie trying to say here? Is Mookie bitter about moving off of leadoff? Is Mookie trying to say that Shohei Ohtani is calling the shots? I don't think that's the case. I see how it could be read that way, but I think you have to put things into context. Mookie Betts understands, one, that the reason for this is not because of his production. He's still an MVP leadoff hitter. He's still one of the best leadoff hitters ever. But it's really about splitting up the lefties in the top of the lineup. You want to split up Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani, and you also want to give Freddie Freeman the most at-bats that he can possibly have. So the higher you're up in the order, the more at-bats you get. So if you keep Mookie Betts at leadoff and then you put Shohei in the 2-hole, well, that means that you have to bump Freddie to cleanup to be able to split up those lefties. And you would have to put either a Teoscar Hernandez or a Will Smith in between them. They don't want to do that. So for this team this year, this is the best option. This is the option that I pushed for a couple months ago when people thought I was crazy to move off one of the best leadoff hitters in history in Mookie Betts in favor of Shohei Ohtani. Because I told you back then, I'll tell you again, Shohei Ohtani is a more dynamic base runner at this stage of his career. He's faster, he steals more bases, and he gets on base. So this is only going to help Mookie Betts get good pitches to hit, get fastballs, get pitches in the zone that he can drive. And I think that we have not seen the best version of this Dodgers offense, and we are going to see that when Mookie Betts returns next week. The best version of the 2024 Dodgers has Shohei batting leadoff, Mookie batting second, Freddie Freeman batting third, and Teoscar Hernandez batting cleanup. I remember during spring training, I asked Dave Roberts about putting Teoscar Hernandez at cleanup. And Dave told me, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I'm thinking middle of the order. I think Will Smith should be the cleanup hitter. And I'm just thinking, I'm not going to talk back to Dave, obviously. I'm just asking a question there. But the plan, I think, all along, in my opinion, was to have Teoscar at cleanup. And that certainly looks like it's what's going to be moving forward. So if you want me to write the lineups, I can do that for you guys. Just save the time. For sure. But we got some more super chats. That's from Sneaky Panda, a $10 super chat. If Mookie Betts started OnlyFans, would we all support it? That's definitely getting a bruh. Not just one bruh. Not just two bruh. You're getting a three-peat. Three bruhs for that. So, no. To answer your question, Mookie has a great YouTube channel. It's a great Instagram. It's a Twitter. He has a lot of things that he supports. Okay, we got Trio Serrano, $5 super chat. Dodgers will be the champions this year. We need to believe. All we need to worry about is finding parking for the parade. There we go. I like that. I like that. A lot of Dodgers fans have the sky falling. There we go. You got a little fire take right there, too. Mookie, people saying Paulo Ramos, Mookie is butthurt. I don't read it that way. I think Mookie is the ultimate team player. How could someone that made himself vulnerable by playing shortstop, someone who stepped up and did one of the most selfless things we've ever seen from a superstar and playing one of the most difficult positions in all of professional sports without batting an eye, even though he knew there was going to be criticism, even though he knew there was going to be a learning curve, even though he knew he was going to struggle at times, Mookie still tackled it head on, took the bull by the horns, and has gotten better. I don't think that Mookie is butthurt, if you want to say that. Mookie is the ultimate team player, and I think he's just fine with that. Now, as far as Tommy Edman goes, yesterday, he was in center field. The range, the instincts of Tommy Edman are instantly going to improve this defense. And yes, Kevin Kiermaier you have on this team, who's a better center fielder. Kevin Kiermaier, with all due respect, is one of the worst, objectively, one of the worst hitters in all of Major League Baseball. And that most likely isn't going to change significantly with the Dodgers. Tommy Edman, he brings the potential for being the most balanced center fielder that the Dodgers have had this year. Mind you, the Dodgers have not had a center fielder this season that is average defensively and average defensively. And Tommy Edman has the potential to be a well above average defender and an around league average bat. You know, I bring my facts to the fight. If you look at the Dodgers this season in center field, how they rank across the league, the Dodgers center fielders in 2024, which has mainly been Andy Pages, they're hitting .215. That's 24th. 12 home runs, that's 24th. An 80 weighted runs created plus, that's 25th. So offensively speaking, the Dodgers center fielders have been 20% below league average all year long at the plate. They've also been below average defensively. This season, Dodgers center fielders have accrued a 0.2 F-WAR. That's 26 out of 30 teams. So by every single statistical measure, the Dodgers have had one of the worst center field mixes in baseball this season. Andy Pages has a -8 defensive runs saved. That's the worst in baseball. And he profiles much better and projects much better as a corner outfielder. You saw that outfield assist he made the other night. He's got that hose in right field. And certainly, I think he's going to perform better offensively by playing at a position where he's more comfortable. And I think that that's part of the reason why Andy Pages struggled offensively, because you're going to see Andy Pages. I know a lot of people want to option him. I still think that Andy Pages is going to figure into this outfield mix. I still think he can be a valuable bench bat, a valuable starting right fielder. And you look at his numbers since the beginning of August, he's gone 5 for 14, hitting .357 with a .938 OPS. So he had a down July where he hit .202 with a .511 OPS, but he's starting to hit again. And yes, it depends on what they want to do with Mookie Betts, because if they throw Mookie Betts in right, that definitely changes the conversation, because then at that point, you most likely option Andy Pages. But I think if you look at the outfield mix right now, who's the only lock? That's Teoscar Hernandez. And then center fielder, Tommy Edman is close to being a lock unless he just can't find it at the plate, which is something that is a valid question because of the fact that he hasn't played a game this season. But I have good confidence that he is. I think Tommy Edman is going to be a valuable asset to this team. So Teoscar in left, Tommy Edman in center, and then in right, you have Andy Pages, and then Jason Hayward, I think, will go into a more comfortable fourth outfielder type of role where he's in there against right-handed pitching. So I like that mix. I think that mix is better now than what it's looked like the entire season. Having competent defense in center field is going to improve this team's chances of winning. So lots of positives to take away from that sim game yesterday. Definitely like what I saw from that. But let me know down below in the comment section. Do you like Tommy Edman in center? Do you think Mookie Betts was irritated at the very least? Maybe he was irritated by the question. That's kind of how Mookie is sometimes. Ray Soto, when is Edman coming back? Edman's going to be back at some point next week as well. So he's going to be back hopefully very soon. I mean, could be against the Cardinals. I mean, middle of August is the hope. Jorge Renteria, Edman needs to take over center field, and we need Mookie in right. Our outfield would greatly improve. That's always an option. You could put Rojas at short and Mookie in right, and that definitely is a potential postseason lineup. If Mookie struggles at short, if he plays short and the offense isn't there, it's definitely an option. But what's the operative word there? Optionality. The beautiful thing is they do have some flexibility there, and I agree with you. In a perfect world, Mookie is in right, and then you feel really good about that. The two corner outfield spots are really above average offensive players. And in center field, you have an average offensive player and above average defender in Tommy Edman. The one thing I will say, the caveat there, is that if you lock up those corner outfield spots, it takes away some flexibility for late game substitutions, for mixing guys in. And then if Miguel Rojas doesn't hit at all and he struggles offensively, what do you do? And then also you want to preserve him. And really a lot of this is about preservation. You want to keep Mookie's legs fresh by not having him run in the outfield and focus on what he can do at the plate. And you want to preserve Miguel Rojas by not having to make him an everyday shortstop. So that's definitely a little bit of a concern as well. But let's check out some of these comments here. Jose Aguirre, Mookie's leader and a team player. Absolutely. Jorge Renteria, Rojas at short for the rest of the season. Ray Guzman Jr., I totally agree. We need to support our team because once Mookie and Muncy are back, our lineup will be strong. The only person that really needs to hit is Will Smith. We'll talk some Smitty. We did earlier in the week, and yeah, absolutely. Will Smith definitely needs to find at the plate. He's going to benefit by moving down the order, right? Will Smith is just not a cleanup hitter, right? Will Smith is a guy, not the guy for this offense. He needs to go back to being a guy. When he was at cleanup, they were asking him to be the guy. And I think he's better suited to be down in the order, take some pressure off of him. And when you get Muncy back, you're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that consists of Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie, Teo, Muncy, and then Smith fits right in there in the 6 hole. And then you have some combination down there with Pajes and Lux. I mean, we'll see what Hayward brings. We'll see what, Rosario is another guy that can play in the outfield as well. He can also play in the infield as well, that you could see him platoon with Gavin Lux against left-handed pitching. So they have some options. Kelly Oshiro, why don't they ask Shohei the question about where he bats? He would say the same thing as Mookie. He should have the opportunity to show he's a team player too, not a prima donna. Okay, I feel you. You know what? How about this? I go to the game today. If Shohei is available, we'll throw that question his direction. See what he says. Chris St. Jacques, my question, can Buehler be what we hope Joe Kelly would be? Chris St. Jacques, that's a good question. And the answer to your question is, well, Joe Kelly, like I said, Joe Kelly, he's living off of the pouty face. He's living off of throwing to Correa. The truth is, Joe Kelly is not a good reliever right now. Joe Kelly is the least trusted Dodgers high leverage reliever. The other night, that was an embarrassing appearance, in my opinion, just because it looked like he wasn't ready to pitch. You walk a 7-9 hitter, you walk a guy before Kyle Schwarber. You give up the home run, the wild pitches there. You just can't have that. I don't know if it was a focus, a concentration thing, but he just didn't look ready to pitch. He didn't go out there and execute like he should have done. And yeah, he can't get on this postseason rotation and this postseason bullpen mix just by reputation. And last season, the expected numbers were a lot better than his ERA and what he had posted. This year, that hasn't been the case. The expected numbers are close to 5 and the ERA is over 5. And can Buehler be that guy? To answer your question, I think it depends, because if Kershaw performs well, that could be your 4 starter. And then Buehler has the potential to play up out of the bullpen more than a Kershaw does. So if you had to pick between one of those 2 guys to come out of the bullpen in a short burst situation, I think that I would lean towards Buehler over Kershaw just because the velocity is higher. And if he's throwing 94, 95, 96 as a starting pitcher, there's no reason why he can't hit 97, 98 and really just empty the tank out of the bullpen. So I definitely think that is something that this organization should explore and entertain. And I think Buehler just wants to be a part of this mix, man. I think Buehler just doesn't want to be the SpongeBob meme where he's Squidward looking through the blinds and it's Patrick and SpongeBob playing. He just doesn't want to be Squidward in the postseason. He just wants to be a part of this postseason mix any way he possibly can. So absolutely, Buehler does have the stuff to be a viable option out of the bullpen. I absolutely think that depending on how he looks coming back, as long as the stuff is there, he definitely has the potential to be better than some bullpen options they could have. But they have a lot of dudes, man. Glasnow, Flaherty, Yamamoto, Kershaw, Buehler, Stone, Phillips, Trinan, Hudson, Kopech, Brusdar now, who looks like he's going to be back at some point. Vesia, that's already 12 pitchers. Then Anthony Bonda deserves a look. Joe Kelly, that's 14. Brazier has looked good in his rehab starts. He came in and relieved Walker Buehler yesterday, and he looked good. Robleski, River Ryan, the LA River, right? He's nasty. It's what they call him on the show. So that's 17 pitchers already. Bobby Miller's going tonight. What if he looks good? He has stuff that could play up out of the bullpen. That's 18. The roster crunch for the pitchers, usually it works itself out, but I think this time around, they're going to have some very difficult decisions to make. Chelsea says, what's up with Bobby Ice D-Mac? He's starting tonight for OKC. We're going to get him on the show next week. So let's all root for Bobby Miller. But when we come back, guys, we are going to break down the top 5 center fielders in Dodgers history. It is Legends Week for the Dodgers, celebrating Dusty Baker, celebrating Walter O'Malley, celebrating Matt Kemp on Sunday. Matt Kemp is signing a one-day contract to retire as a Dodger, and we're going to look at the top 5 center fielders in Dodgers history. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. I'm here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel for all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, interviews, breakdowns, live streams, and more all year long. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to help the channel out, smash that like button. Also, you will not be eligible for any of our giveaways unless you are subscribed to the channel. So all you need to do to be eligible for all of our giveaways is just make sure that you are subscribed. We just gave away a brand new authentic Mookie Betts jersey valued at over $350. And we got tons of giveaways coming this offseason. So be sure to be subscribed so you are eligible to win. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and please subscribe. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show here on YouTube. If you haven't yet, be sure to comment Go Tawny down below so you're eligible for our next big giveaway, Shohei Ohtani Road Gray Authentic Jersey once we hit 95K. Definitely want to be eligible for that. By the way, I was there the other night. Really nice job on this Sandy Koufax bobblehead. I think I did a really nice job on this. I give this one about a 9.5. I think this one's great. I love the Sandy Koufax lean there. They kind of went a little bit of that off-white type of shade for the jersey. Just my neck is a little chipped with the paint, so that's got it a little bit. And also, as Tony Tears pointed out, doesn't really bobble. But the thing is about Sandy Koufax is he wasn't really working with the catcher. He was throwing whatever he wanted. Basically, curveball, 12-6 curve in the fastball, so really didn't need to bobble or move his head at all. But if the thing about Sandy Koufax was he used to say that the way he knew that the game was over was that the catcher would be walking towards him to shake his hand, because that would mean it was a complete game. So that's how he knew the game was over. Willie Stargell once said that trying to hit Sandy Koufax was like trying to drink coffee with a fork. So, yeah, one of the best pitchers ever, in my opinion, the GOAT of the Dodgers pitchers in the history of the game. But, yeah, before we get into the best center fielders, if you guys saw yesterday's show, we talked about Hunter Wendelstedt, a.k.a. Angel Hernandez 2.0. I never thought they could fill Angel Hernandez's shoes, but Hunter Wendelstedt certainly is doing his best to do just that. But the game did get chippy, and Gavin Lux did get intentionally thrown to by Strom later in the game. And talked to Lux after the game. Lux did say that, he's basically asking him, like, what the F was that? And the question is, should the Dodgers have rushed the field? Should Gavin's Lux rush Strom? Should he have chased him down? Should Michael Grove had thrown a pitch at the Phillies the very next inning to send a message? All that is okay with me. I would have been against it. Baseball has a way of policing itself. As long as no one gets hurt, I'm all for that. But I think the big question Dodgers fans have been talking about is, do they need a tough guy? Do they need an enforcer? Do they need a big bully in those situations? And in my opinion, the way I look at it is this. You have Max Muncy. Max Muncy, who wants to smoke more than Max Muncy, if we're being quite honest? If you're going into a bar fight and you got to bring one Dodger, who's not picking Max Muncy? Just ask Madison Bumgarner, who's snorkeling around McCovey Cove trying to get out of the ocean as we speak, probably. I think you look at the team in 2017, 2018, when you had guys like Puig and Chase Utley, and you had guys like David Freese, you had guys like Justin Turner. All those guys definitely were tough. They were guys that held guys accountable. Clayton Kershaw is certainly someone who's well respected. But the truth is, what this team needs more than a tough guy is starting pitchers that go deeper into games, that have bullpen guys that go out there and get outs, that have an offense that can hit more consistently and then just doesn't front load games. So sure, everyone says that after the fact. The truth of the matter is, no one's throwing any punches. There's going to be no blood. No one's connecting on anything. They're not going to roll an octagon out there and dudes are going to start going full MMA, UFC on each other. That ain't happening, right? Would I have liked to see Grove throw at the Phillies the next inning? 100%. But the truth is, the Dodgers don't lack a tough guy. That's a lazy take. That's what everyone says whenever there's a fight. The Dodgers lack starting pitching that goes deep into games. They lack bullpen pieces right now that can give you outs at a high level. So I think that is just almost the way to get, I mean, to me, that is a cop-out for their poor performance of late. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is the best player on the planet. Aaron Judge is the best player on the planet, right? These guys are great players. Are they throwing punches? Are they pushing guys? I mean, sure. I mean, have an edge. But the truth of the matter is that what this team really needs is they need to perform better. And it doesn't matter. I mean, look, if you really want to infuriate guys, if you really want to really kick guys' ass, you do on the scoreboard. You do it in the field of play. You do it by absolutely destroying their pitching, by mowing their guys down. I mean, you're not going to get extra runs. You're not going to get extra outs if you push someone, if you start a fight. That's not going to do that. I mean, go look at Looney Tunes. How did Bugs Bunny really piss off Elmer Fudd? It was when he kissed him. That's when he got really mad. He gave him the big kiss on the cheek. That is what would infuriate Elmer Fudd. The Dodgers can really impose their will by going out there and whooping guys with, I mean, you're trying to, so what? Is Puig tougher than Freddie Freeman? Is Puig tougher than Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani? Puig's out of the league because he's not a good enough baseball player, right? I mean, to me, I'd much rather be the not tough guy that's an all-star, the not tough guy that's going to the Hall of Fame, the not tough guy that's signing a $300+ million contract. If you want the goons, sure. The goons ain't signing big deals. The goons ain't going to the Hall of Fame and making an all-star team. The goons aren't the difference between teams winning the World Series or not. So I think it's a lazy take, in my opinion. I think I want better players. Look at Kobe Bryant. What Matt Barnes, he tried to trigger Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant looked like a stone cold killer. Okay? Only time, I mean, what Kobe Bryant got a couple fights. Chris Childs, he threw some hands at him, and Kobe lost that fight. And then Reggie Miller tackled him on the scoreboard. Yeah. Kobe wasn't a good fighter, but is Reggie Miller and Childs and Matt Barnes, are they tougher than Kobe Bryant? Do they have more dog than Kobe Bryant? Hell no. I'm telling you, it's a weak take. I truly believe they have the right. Teoscar Hernandez is not a tough guy. I mean, Andy Pajes. I mean, these guys who either grew up in poverty or defected. To me, that's tough. Is finding a way to make it to the show in these situations and becoming one of the statistical miracles. The less than 800 guys that play at this level, to me, that's tough. That's persevering. That's making it through. So, look, like I said, baseball is going to please baseball. But to think that the Dodgers not having some like 200 hitter that can say, you know, F you, let's effing go. You guys want to go? Only to get held back by like 60 guys and not throw a punch. When's the last time you saw someone connect? Right? I mean, it's great for breakdowns. But if you want that, watch UFC, watch boxing, watch MMA, right? Watch World Star Hip Hop fights, which I still do, right? All I do is watch fights on X. All I do, street fights, high school fights. I watch all that stuff. But that's not why I watch baseball. I watch, you know what I mean? But what do you think about that, Noah? I mean, a lot of people talking about that the other day is guys wanting a enforcer. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I respect it, but I just don't think it's making a huge difference as to whether or not they're winning or losing games.
So I think there's a big difference between passionate players and players that are just looking to start trouble. And you see that across all sports. You see the troublemakers, the guys that are going out there using all their fouls, just trying to hurt people. What I do think the Dodgers need a little bit more, especially at this point in the season, is the fire, the passion. We saw Teo when he was going crazy, hitting in game-winning runs. He was yelling. Even you tweeted, you said this can be absolutely electric in the postseason. I think that's what you need, especially when you look at how all these other teams look at the Dodgers. They're saying they spent $1 billion. They're still going to lose in the first round. We saw last year in the NLDS, there really wasn't any passion when we couldn't get any hits. So I think what we need is a little bit more of that fire. We don't need guys running onto the field, getting ejected. I like that Dave Roberts stood up for Miguel Rojas, and he got thrown out. But Dave's not going to throw a punch. We don't need our players throwing a punch, getting suspended for a couple games when the Padres and the Diamondbacks are right on us right now.
Yeah, that's a fire take. I think you bring up the best point ever is that there's a big difference between dudes just want to. You guys got that. Everyone has that friend, right? Yeah. Hey, let's go. You know, the guy who's always ready to go. Doesn't matter where it is. He's always ready to go at the club, at the bar, at the game. He's ready to go. I've got that friend. Not going to say his name. Almost said his name, but
no government name.
No government name, but. Everyone's got that friend, but the difference between fighting and just playing with passion and fire. And as you point out, Teoscar Hernandez in New York, that was passion, that was fire, and competitiveness as well. And the truth of the matter is you don't become an MVP, an all-star, a World Series champion without having that passion, and that fire, and that competitive instinct that those guys have. Now, like I said, you don't want to be bullied, you don't want to be pushed around for sure, but that's why the way to police it was not rush them out and go full Yasiel Puig versus Bumgarner. Michael Grove, plunk someone if you're going to go that route. But look, I mean, for this team, what they're about, what they need to do, if you're going to let every little team, every little player kind of poke and badge you and react to that, you're going to lose focus. Yeah. And this team is already magnified under a microscope. They have a bullseye on them. They need to think of the big picture. So look, hey, you trust me? No, I'll get my popcorn out. No one is more here for a brawl than me, but I just don't think it has a big impact on winning and losing games. What's your take, though, Mr. Tony Taters?
Oh, I got to be honest, man. I've been to a couple games where some benches cleared, not only Dodger games, but in Milwaukee as well. And it's always fun to see, but you don't want to see Shohei or Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman throwing a punch, risking injury. But I just want to say, dude, when two teams are going at it hardcore and you see two of the bullpens running like next to each other, how come you never just see them like punching each other like on the way, like, you know what I mean? Like you're so mad at each other, just punch each other right there if you're gonna do it. It
gets me hype. I like it. It gets me hype. But it's always just a lot of nothing. But I like it. Lorenzo Gaddis 999 super chat says Tim Anderson got whipped so bad he got DFA'd. Yeah. Hey, him versus J-Ram. J-Ram knocked the baseball skill out of him. J-Ram knocked him out of the league. And then Tim Anderson, he wasn't able to connect back. I know Tim Anderson isn't a pitcher, but he did throw a no-hitter against Jose Ramirez in that one. So yeah, that's a good point. But we got Brylo. I was one beer away from running at Strom from the right field pavilion on Wednesday. We're not going to encourage that behavior. We're just going to say no comment, but I'm going to give you a comment of the show for that one. Mario Torres could have had Tommy Fan. Dodgers management didn't want that dog in the clubhouse. I mean, look, Tommy Pham, we'll see what he does, but I still think they're better off with the players that they have right now, if you want my honest opinion. Smack up 499. We got to treat these closers like Cain's Kershaw trade. I didn't eat my carrots, and my vision is not as good. I need the glasses. I need the Harry Carey glasses here to read these. Okay, there we go. We got Smack Upper Lip, 499 super chat. We got to treat these closers like Cain's coleslaw. Trade them for bread always. That's a fire take. I like that. That's slick right there. But okay, guys, so talk some Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is going to be at Dodger Stadium on Sunday, and he's going to sign a one-day contract with the Dodgers to retire as a Dodger. It's going to be a beautiful sight. They're giving away his bobblehead. It's going to be great. So that got me thinking, who are the top 5 center fielders in Dodgers franchise history? So we got my high 5 right here. Top 5 Dodgers in franchise history. Coming in at number 5, we got Pete Reiser, played with the Dodgers from 1940 to 1942, also 46 through 48. He twice led the National League in stolen bases, and really the big if with Reiser is what would he have looked like if he did not miss time due to the war. He made the All-Star team twice before the war, and he made the All-Star team when he came back. So wasn't a long career, but a really solid career with the Dodgers. Then coming in at number 4, Brett Butler, played with the Dodgers from 1991 to 1997, missed most of the 1996 season with throat cancer, but he returned to hit .283 before calling it a career. So a very inspirational story, a durable player, someone who was always able to get on base. When he retired, he had a .392 on base percentage. That was third all time in Los Angeles Dodgers history. Also accrued 15 wins above replacement in his first 4 seasons with the Dodgers. So definitely one of the best center fielders in Dodgers history. And then the top 3. The top 3 is very difficult. And we're not talking about just the top 3 center fielders in Dodgers history, but some of the best in baseball history. And coming in at number 3 is the Bison, Matt Kemp. So Matt Kemp, I wanted to selfishly put him higher on this list because he was one of my favorite players. But Matt Kemp comes in at number 3. He tied the franchise record with 5 home runs in 5 consecutive games on that run. And he signed with the Dodgers after being drafted out of high school in 2003, despite, and you'll like this, Noel, he was offered a scholarship to play basketball for the University of Oklahoma. He was going to be a Sooner. He decided to play baseball, and good thing he did. He also was one of the best players in baseball when he really got going. In his 26-year-old season in 2011, 26-year-old Matt Kemp in 2011 was just about as good as it gets as far as center fielders go. In 2011, you can make the case that it's one of the best single seasons for any Dodgers player in franchise history. That year, he led the National League in runs, home runs, RBIs, OPS plus, total bases. He had 324, stole 40 bases. He won the Gold Glove and the Silver Slugger. And he really should have won the MVP over Ryan Braun. Because Ryan Braun, he admitted to using PEDs, and even the season that Ryan Braun had, Kemp was just better. He was better that year than Ryan Braun. He put up better numbers. If you look at the weighted runs created plus, if you look at the WAR, that was Matt Kemp's MVP. Matt Kemp was absolutely robbed by Ryan Braun. Major League Baseball should give that award to Matt Kemp because of the PEDs and because of the fact that he had a better season. And really what it comes down to is, baseball, they love their round numbers. If he had one more home run, he would have just been the first, he would have been the 5th at the time, but he would have been one of the only players to reach that 40-40 plateau and would have became the first Dodgers player in franchise history to have 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases in a season. And it was a magical year for Matt Kemp. Didn't win the MVP, but still one of the best single seasons in Dodgers franchise history. And unfortunately, his career is really derailed by injuries. Hamstring, shoulder, just too many injuries that led to him being traded. Andrew Friedman comes in and he trades him to the Padres for Yasmani Grandal. And ultimately he comes back in 2018 and helps his Dodgers team get back to the World Series. He actually made the All-Star team that season. And in his 10 years with the Dodgers, he had 203 home runs, had 733 RBIs, 170 steals, had a .292 batting average, an .842 OPS, and made 3 All-Star teams. So love me some Matt Kemp. I remember after that almost 40-40 season, he said he was going to have the 50-50 season, and that never happened. But like I said, hamstrings really hampered that career. Also had a hip injury, an ankle injury, shoulder issues. I mean, he was as talented as it gets when he was at its best. And then coming in at number 2, Willie Davis. Willie Davis might be one of the most underrated, underappreciated players in Dodgers franchise history. He won 3 National League Gold Gloves. He's the Dodgers franchise leader in Los Angeles in total bases, 3,094, triples, 110, extra base hits, 585. And you look at the production that he's had. I mean, the triples, the extra base hits, runs, hits. I mean, he's the all-time leader in Los Angeles Dodgers history in hits, 2,091. Only Zach Wheat, Duke Snyder, and Gil Hodges for Dodgers history have more than he does. And he was considered at the time, we're talking a lot about leadoff hitter, he was considered to be one of the best leadoff hitters in the 60s and the 70s. He stole more than 20 bases in a season 13 times in his career, had a career high 42 swipe bags in 1964, hit over 300 4 different times in his career. We're talking about a 2020 season And he also holds the record for the longest hitting streak in Dodgers history at 31 games. So in his 14-year career with the Dodgers, 2,091 hits, a 279 batting average, 321 doubles, 154 home runs, 335 steals, made 2 All-Star teams, and also, most importantly, helped the Dodgers win 2 World Series titles. And then coming in at number 1, the Duke of Flatbush, Edwin Donald Snyder. Duke Snyder, who was signed out of Compton High School by the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1943. He's from the CPT. And he made his way through the minor league system really quickly, but then he served in World War II after making his debut in 1949. But he had a very strong start in 1949, hit .292 with 23 home runs. He made 7 consecutive All-Star teams. He had .321 with 31 doubles, had 10 triples, 31 home runs, and 107 RBI and 16 stolen bases in 1955. And he finished second in the MVP behind his teammate, Roy Campanella. It was very controversial at the time. A lot of people thought that he should have won MVP over Roy Campanella. If it was today's standards, he probably would have won that award because his numbers overall were better. And he was someone that really was one of the very best hitters in the game. And there was the talk at the time between Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and Duke Snyder. The best center fielders in baseball all were playing in New York at the same time period. And when it comes to overall OPS, he had 3 consecutive seasons with an OPS higher than 1,000. He had in 53, 54, and 55. And he absolutely was one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball history and also the best center fielder for Los Angeles Dodgers. So there's my 5 right there. The top 5 center fielders in Dodgers history. 5 Pete Reiser, 4 Brett Butler, 3 Matt Kemp, 2 Willie Davis, and number 1, Edwin Donald Snyder, the Duke of Flatbush. One of the best players, but also one of the best postseason players as well, man. This guy was a beast in the postseason for Los Angeles Dodgers, a part of 2 World Series teams, 55 and 59. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Comment Go Tawny down below. Let's do some quick predictions. What do you got the Dodgers doing this weekend? We got the Paul Skeens show coming to Los Angeles. What's your prediction for the weekend?
All right, I'm just going to say it. Today's the day the Dodgers get to Paul Skeens. He's going to pitch less than 5 innings. They're going to knock him out.
Ooh.
That's my prediction.
So I like it. So that's Saturday's matchup. We got Skeens going against River Ryan on Saturday. And I think they really need a sweep. They really do, with the way that they're pitching, the way that the Diamondbacks and Padres refuse to lose right now. I got the Dodgers sweeping the Buccos, sweeping the Pirates. How about you, Mr. Noel Sanchez? What's your prediction for the weekend?
I got a sweep too. It's going to be a really special weekend. I think they're going to come out with a little bit more motivation than usual and just take care of business like they need to.
Fly the Jolly Dodger. Mr. Classic disagrees. He says, sweeping the Pirates? Hell no. Hell no, D-Max. Skeen's perfect game today. LA lose the series. Okay, I get it. It makes sense. But this does feel like a get-right series for the Dodgers, even though the Pirates have had the Dodgers numbers in the last couple of seasons. But hey, with the way they performed, with the good vibes that they have, I mean, Jack Flaherty making his Dodgers Stadium debut is going to be really special. So that's definitely going to be. I mean, you got Flaherty and Glass now both going, and then River Ryan has really looked good of late too. So starting pitching, I think they're going to get a boost this series. Ohtani's gone through a little bit of a slump. I think he breaks out in a big way. I think you would see 2 home runs from Shohei Ohtani this series. But that's going to do it, guys. Follow me on X. Follow me on Instagram, DMac_LA. We're going to be back after tonight's game for a post-game show. I'm going to go pre-game, try to get some interviews in as well. I'm going to be there Sunday, as will Noel Sanchez. If you see Noise by Noel, give him a shout out. But thanks again, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Let's get a little Let's Go Dodgers. Let's bring the vibes up. The vibe check, we need to get it up. Mr. Classic says, hits a cycle and we sweep. Mr. Classic, 2 seconds ago, you said they were going to get swept, but okay, forget it. But good chat as always. Thanks, Pika Pete. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Kenny Chung. Thanks, me. Thank you all for rocking with us and making this the #1 Dodgers channel in the game. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue,